the truth awaits in the dark. True story.
Tokyo, a metropolis of 37 million people, a city defined by its clockwork precision, its low crime rate, and an almost sacred sense of public safety. In the sprawling urban landscape of Japan, the concept of a home is a sanctuary. It is a place where locks are kept and trust is implicit. But in the winter of 2000, in the quiet, affluent suburb of Setagaya, that sanctity was not just broken, it was systematically dismantled. This is not a story of a quick break-in gone wrong. This is the anatomical study of a haunting. A killer who did not just strike and vanish, but a predator who moved into the home of his victims. He ate their food, he used their tools, and for 10 hours he existed in the silence of their shadows. Welcome to the Verdict Files. Today we step inside a crime scene that redefined forensic science. A case where the evidence was mountain high, yet the killer remains a ghost. No sirens, no warnings, just the cold, steady hum of a city that has no idea what is happening inside house number 3-23-26. The date is December 30th. The air in Setagaya is biting, reaching near freezing temperatures as the final sun of the millennium sets. Mikio Miyazawa, a 44-year-old marketing consultant, is finishing his work for the day. His wife, Yasuko, is preparing for the New Year's celebrations. Their children, 8-year-old Nina and 6-year-old Rei, are playing, unaware that their home is being watched. At approximately 11:30 p.m., the silence of the Miyazawa household is shattered, but the world outside hears nothing. The entry point was a small second-floor bathroom window, a gap barely large enough for a grown man to fit through. But this intruder was agile. He climbed the exterior fence, balanced on the narrow ledge, and slipped into the darkness of the upper floor. His first target was 6-year-old Rei, sleeping soundly in his bed. The killer strangled him with his bare hands. No struggle, no noise, just a life extinguished in the dark. Mikio, hearing something from downstairs, rushed up the steps. He met the intruder at the landing. A violent, desperate struggle ensued. Mikio fought with everything he had, even wounding the killer's hand. But the intruder was armed with a Yanagiba sashimi knife, a long, thin, lethal blade designed for precision. Mikio fell at the bottom of the stairs. The killer then turned his attention back to the loft. Yasuko and 8-year-old Nina were cornered. The sashimi knife broke during the assault. Undeterred, the killer retreated to the kitchen, grabbed a second knife, and returned to finish what he started. By midnight, the Miyazawa family was gone. In any other case, this is where the story ends and the escape begins. But for the Setagaya killer, the night was just starting. He did not climb back out the window. He did not wipe his fingerprints. Instead, he walked to the kitchen. He opened the refrigerator. He took out 4 containers of barley tea and melon soda. He sat at the family table and ate 4 cups of ice cream, leaving the empty containers scattered across the counter. He was comfortable. He was home. He found the family's first aid kit and spent time bandaging his own wounded hand. He used Yasuko's personal items to stop his bleeding, leaving his type A blood on the floor, the walls, and the bandages. Then he sat at Mikio's desk. He turned on the computer. At 1:18 a.m., while the bodies of his victims lay cold around him, he browsed the internet. He visited the website of Mikio's employer. He looked at theater tickets. He stayed online for minutes, casually clicking a mouse that was stained with the blood of the man who owned it. He stayed in that house for 10 hours. He slept on the sofa. He used the toilet and intentionally left it unflushed, a final defiant mark of his presence. He only left the next morning, around 10 a.m., slipping out into the cold New Year's Eve air, leaving behind a mountain of evidence that should have caught him in 24 hours. Instead, it has been 26 years. The crime scene at house number 3-23-26 was not empty. It was overflowing. Usually, a cold case is cold because there is no DNA, no witnesses, and no physical clues. But in Setagaya, the police did not have a lack of evidence. They had a mountain of it. Let us look at the killer's wardrobe. He did not just drop a hat or a glove. He left almost everything he was wearing. Neatly folded on a chair in the living room, investigators found a gray, long-sleeved Uniqlo shirt. Next to it, a dark patterned scarf, a winter hat, and a puffer jacket. But the most specific item was a rare purple and black raglan sleeve sweater. Only 130 of these sweaters were ever sold in Japan. It was a lead so strong, the detectives believed the case would be closed by New Year's Day. But as they traced the sales, the trail went cold. The buyers were scattered and none matched the profile. Then there was the fanny pack, a small green canvas bag left on the floor. Inside, forensic teams discovered something extraordinary. Traces of sand, but this wasn't common Tokyo sand. Geological analysis traced these microscopic grains back to a very specific location, the Nevada desert near the Edwards Air Force Base in the United States. How does a killer in Tokyo carry the dust of the American desert in his pocket? Was he a traveler, a student, or perhaps someone connected to the military? The forensic report only got stranger. The killer's DNA was everywhere. Because of the struggle with Mikio, the intruder had a deep cut on his hand. He bled in the kitchen. He bled on the stairs. He bled on the family's first aid supplies. His blood type was A. His genetic markers suggested a mixed heritage, a mother of Southern European descent and a father of East Asian origin. We have his blood. We have his DNA. We have his clothes. We even have his shoe size. The killer wore a pair of Slazenger sneakers, size 28 centimeters. The bloody footprints were perfectly preserved on the hardwood floors. At the time, this specific model of Slazenger was only sold in South Korea and the United Kingdom. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police reached out to Interpol. They shared the DNA. They shared the fingerprints. They shared the shoe prints. They checked the records of millions of people across Asia and Europe. The result? 0. Not a single match in any criminal database in the world. It was as if this man was born, committed a quadruple homicide, and then ceased to exist. But the most haunting evidence isn't what he left behind. It's what he did while he stayed. Remember, he spent 10 hours in that house. He didn't just eat ice cream and browse the internet. He also took the time to systematically destroy the family's documents. He used a pair of scissors to cut up Yasuko's credit cards and Mikio's papers. He wasn't looking for money. He was erasing their identities. As the sun rose on December 31st, the killer finally decided to leave. He didn't take any of his blood-stained clothes with him. He put on Mikio's clothes. He walked out the front door, blended into the holiday crowds, and vanished. 26 years later, the Seijo police station still maintains a task force for case number 9. The reward is the highest in Japanese history. Every year, on the anniversary of the murders, officers return to the site to offer prayers. The house is gone now, demolished in 2024. But the mystery remains. In a world of constant surveillance, facial recognition, and global DNA databases, how can a man leave his entire life story at a crime scene and remain a ghost? Perhaps he is still out there. Perhaps he is watching this, knowing that the most evidence-heavy case in history is also its most perfect failure. Stay safe, watch your windows, and remember, sometimes the person sitting next to you on a train or standing behind you in a crowd is someone who once lived for 10 hours in a house of shadows. This has been the Verdict Files. If you value this deep investigation into the world's most classified cases, follow us for the next file. The darkness is closer than you think.
The truth awaits in the dark.